Yep. Could be perfect for the Guess the MMR game.
Yeah, indeed. 33. Gonna get Wraithfire blasted by Shiro. He is completely surrounded. Burrow strikes too late. Nothing to say with the first blood as the mid Tiny.
So I really like what Fear brought up in this draft, that when you look at this, I don't think it's inherently obvious what they're going for by putting Wraith can carry and TB offlane instead of vice versa. Perhaps the logic is that Terrorblade lanes better into TA, and that's the concern. Because as far as I'm looking at this game in its entirety, I would rather have seen a Terrorblade carry and a Wraith King offlane. I think this hero has a ton of potential as offlane in this patch by virtue of getting the level 10 talent for the Wraithfire Blast slow duration. You're running with Bone Guard maxed out, and then you just start pushing, and you can buy auras, you can buy utility, you can frontline for your team, kind of play the same logic as you would with, say, a Tidehunter or an Abaddon, and function that way in your lineup. When you're playing carry, it's different. You really need to get a lot of damage for this hero to truly scale, but I guess this time around, the little bit of a crutch that he has is his other two cores scale phenomenally as well, the Tiny and the Terrorblade. So perhaps Wraith King, we've seen Shiro before not go fully greedy, true one-position items. Maybe that's the type of game for it here.
Yeah, very interested to see if that's going to work out. I mean, to be fair, we've been kind of missing out on Wraith King as position one, feels like. As a hero in general, in fact.
Yeah, he's been played a little bit this tournament, though. I haven't been all that impressed with the carry games so far, but maybe Shiro can win me over here. A secondary concern, potentially, that you took into account here as Tidebound is you're playing against a a Sand King Caudal lane. It's very spamming in nature, and Wraith King has passive lifesteal, so he can offset some of the Caudal harass himself. Sox is in big trouble here, by the way. Burrow Strike will not save him.
Yep, Thunder Strike will take it, so Y gets a kill here. 2-0 start for Team Tidebound. And I mean, coming into this series, would you put Tundra as the favors for the match overall? I mean, these two-game series are interesting. It feels like we get a lot of splits.
Yeah. I think based on the overall tournament so far, I would say Tundra probably have looked a bit better. But if you ask me what the most likely result is probably a draw. I don't think either team is that much better than the other that I would say 2-0 for them is what I would expect. I think it's mainly going to be in the adjustments between game 1 and 2 who figures out how to plug the holes in their draft. And I mean, Tidebound, honestly, it's been kind of cool to see their rise recently. I think they've created, not only have they implemented some new ideas that have actually been taken by Western teams, which I feel like it's been a long time since China has innovated much in the international scene. It's generally been the other way around. But some of Tidebound's ideas have kind of been stolen by other teams. So that's been cool to see.
And does it have you believing yet, Cinderin? We know that you have loved Chinese teams in the past, but you have basically given them up entirely until they get top 3, I believe.
Yeah,
at a tournament.
we've had this conversation many a time in the past. I want to say 2 years by now. Every time I predict a Chinese team to do well, they always fail. So I have just stopped predicting them to win. And then if it does happen, I will be impressed, and I think it will be good for Dota if a Chinese team does well. It's just, you know, at some point, stats don't lie, right? As a wise man used to say. He wasn't always right, though. He said, too, it was important to wash your chicken. But you can't get everything right every time.
Some great content, never to be seen by the light of day, unfortunately. There's nothing to say in the mid lane. 12-5 right now. BZM 16-4 on the Kunkka. What do you think about the mid Kunkka in this current meta? Feels like we've seen a couple different variations in terms of builds. Impact kind of all over the place, it feels like.
Yeah, he was great last game he played it.
Yeah.
So that was good. I have my doubts.
Big hit or miss.
Yeah, I think Kunkka for the most part has kind of been that way for a long time. But I see more misses than hits overall. However, the last time BZM did play this, it was specifically this lane matchup. He also played it into Tiny, and he won his lane handily. So maybe he can repeat that performance and go the same build. In that game, he went Blade Mail Radiance. I guess overall, if the problem, the way I see it a little bit that this hero has is compared to other mid heroes, the scaling potential is just a little bit awkward. You're kind of more of a utility hero. You don't do tons of damage necessarily. Radiance obviously helps. But if you have high damage supports or a high damage offlaner in particular, that can probably cover the gap. You know, you've got Sand King. He does a lot of damage. And TA, well, needs no introduction on the DPS meter, so.
Indeed. 33 is going to take out some jungle camps here. I do want to talk about the off lane for Team Tidebound. Faith Beyond on Terrorblade, Planet on Medusa. Your 3 and your 4, ladies and gentlemen. What does this lane do?
Exactly. It goes to low priority
Yeah.
2 years ago.
So I know that Terrorblade has been off and on like a support the last year's Planet.
Oh, they're baiting Whitemon in as far as they can.
Yeah.
Snake not connecting though.
The Bach is in his juicy form as Chrysalis is going to try to kill him inside. That gets the refraction off the stick. Is going to keep Bach alive a little bit longer, but not able to get behind the tree line in time. Chrysalis will claim himself a very important kill, but Y is coming to play. And
Kinetic Fence.
They don't
Would you
have,
look at that.
Yeah, I did want to talk about that as well, but they don't have any vision for the meld as Chrysalis is going to get blocked again, but there's the meld, the ultimate counter in these turbo games, Cinderin, is invisibility.
Yeah, add that to the pile of things that make this a turbo game. Kinetic Fence as well, and no detection.
Yeah,
truly, this is truly a simulation game.
Why Kinetic Fence in this game?
Honestly, I have been struggling in general to figure out when and why this is better than the other one. So I don't have an obvious answer right now, except it blocks off, let's say, heroes like Tia and Kunkka that might want to reset their position in the fights a little bit. You do have significantly more duration since you have 2 charges versus the field, but I think it very much depends on the type of heroes you're facing. So any heroes that have inherent mobility and can just bypass the fence or have long range, I think the fence is a lot worse. So let's say the enemy carries a sniper, right? Like, how much is it going to matter that you put up a fence instead of a ring? Probably not that much. But against a hero like TA, maybe you block her off completely when she's trying to reset position. Against Sand King, Elder Titan, I don't know. It's a very interesting facet for me. I loved it conceptually since it came out. I just never really thought it was very good, but I've been seeing it more recently, and maybe it's been buffed enough to real consideration.
It does feel like you have more consistency for singling out like specific heroes, not like a grouping. So you're kind of giving up a bit of that wombo combo potential that we've seen with Disruptor in the past.
Yeah, it's harder to get a static storm. So you're kind of, that's the sacrifice, right?
Yeah.
BZM.
But it is interesting. Yeah,
This
BZM
field
blocked
room
off.
is going to be...
And I do believe that the time it takes to form is faster than, I mean, it's way faster.
Yeah.
So that is another benefit.
I think so, at least. The formation delay is 0.4. Wait, what is it on the other one?
Yeah, go ahead.
It might be the same, actually.
I don't know about that.
No, it's not. It's 1 second on the regular one, on this one's 0.4, so it's a lot faster.
That's right. You were trying to do the math in your head, but it's just a lot.
Yeah. Well, from 1 to 0.4 is 60%.
Good job, Cinderin. You did it.
Thank you.
You could be an NA math teacher.
Yes.
Just with that qualification.
That's enough.
No need to see your resume, young man. So Shiro is going to be going for the Radiance build. So when you go for the Radiance, which I would think is usually the case.
Yeah.
We had to hold that thought. We've got a gank coming in. 33 with a nice body blocked.
We don't even get the X, so a bit of a waste of time here from BZM. Immediately Soxa will TP up to make 2 stacks. Nope, he'll only make the 1. He had Illuminate on cooldown. That's to settle for the Ancients. Seen a lot of this when he's playing with 33 that on the Sand King, they've really put a lot of emphasis on making stacks to compensate for Sand King's generally weaker laning stage, but look at his CS this game. 75, minute 8 on the SK. He's having a wonderful time so far.
Oh, yeah.
So how the Wraith King Radiance? What are we getting at?
Nowhere, really.
All right. Well,
It's going to be a Radiance.
Yep.
That's all we need to know.
True that.
Tanky hero that has 2 lives. Why not? As 33 is working on a Crimson Guard. Last time he went for a Bloodstone pretty fast.
Here.
Gets Wraith Fire Blast. There's the double Kinetic Fence into a Burrow Strike away, but glimpse back into the fray. Looks like he's going to get cleaned up. Not able to take out the first life of Shiro. His affiliate not yet, of course, skilled his ultimate, just saving that for a rainy day. We've seen that backfire a time or two. The min-maxing of these pro players, Cinderin.
Yep. I gotta say, I mean, now that we're talking about Wraith King, I think one concern potentially for Tundra in this game is the Tidebound team is stupid hard to kill, right? It's a Deuce of support, Terrorblade 3, Tiny as your mid, and then Wraith King with 2 lives. So there's no obvious core hero that TA or Kunkka just pile all their stuff into and win the fight. Especially if you go on anyone else than Terrorblade, there's still the Sunder threat. Of course, I mean, I guess if you're going on the Dusa, that's not really a concern, because if she gets Sundered, it's like 200 HP, right? But anyone else, the Sunder is a factor, and you probably don't want to go on the Dusa to begin with either.
Yep,
Hero finds a
definitely
nice
not.
little pick there, and will probably take the tower unless 33 makes his way over, but as a matter of fact, he's kind of being hounded right now as he's farming the stacks. But a nice ward in the river spots out Y. See if Tundra have any plans here to get involved. Doesn't look like it. They'll just chill, get their farm on.
I know it's a position 3 Terrorblade, but how much does Elder Titan come into play versus this hero these days? Because back in the day, that was like a hard counter, but they changed natural order to be split between the body and your spirit. So I believe you have to be close to them physically for the minus.
It's worked that way for a very long time. The physical component being tied to you and the magic part being tied to the spirit. So this matchup in essence has not changed that much in the last couple of years, I would say. But obviously when the hero is not the carry but rather position 3, it offers some different paths of itemization. We've seen Terrorblade offlanes go like pipe, and sometimes it's pipe into Manta, sometimes it's pipe S and Y, so you kind of get really tanky. So far Bach has opted for the Dragonlance. I'm curious to see what he goes next. Nothing in the quick buy. But I mean, it's still a good matchup for ET if he can stand his ground, right? If he gets to be close to the Terrorblade and he is a true priority target, the question is if that's really what you're aiming for in this game.
Shiro, he's just dead.
His ult.
His ult is back. Great job from him to skill that in time. 33 is going to get cleaned up. So this is going to be a long cooldown for Shiro. Although he pops the Crimson Guard. Is he actually okay? Soxa comes in as well. 33 is so freaking tanky.
Yeah.
Just not enough damage for Team Tidebound.
Not bad. Popping that ult by himself is a great reward for an epicenter.
That's 150 seconds.
Yep.
So see if Tundra tried to organize something to take him out again.
That's definitely one of the bigger changes that Wraith King got in the last couple of years is Reincarnation cooldown level 3 used to be like, was it 40 seconds at one point?
Yeah.
And now it's 120. So
in terms of cooldowns in general, that spell has had the most changes over the years.
Yeah.
It flip-flopped a lot of times.
Been a lot of changes, but it's lower on level 1, just the 3 minutes. At one point it was 5. So yeah, it's been through many an iteration. Nothing to say trying to get the rune. It is unfortunately for him down bottom. So
Bo's coming for Planet. Get him to half mana. Very low on mana now. Is the ET ult coming from the north as well. Gets split up. Planet, though, gets destroyed by Soxa. That was an instant amount of damage.
Wait, how did he... What?
I think it was Tidebringer into a casual right-click, if I'm not mistaken.
I guess the blade mail damage hit him simultaneously or something.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
It looked
Either
like
way,
a weird death.
Support Medusa is dead.
And so is the tower.
Radiant's middle
So that's the first tower of the game claimed by Tundra, and they're going to try to take this opportunity to steal some Ancients.
Boy.
This would be a very, very high-impact play.
That's
spent
a
a lot
lot of
of time and effort.
Triceratops, too.
Yeah.
They're meatier than the other ancient
Entirety of Jurassic Park being killed by a singular scorpion here.
Yeah, it looks like Tundra going to get a majority of these. As Nothing to Say comes in with the Avalanche.
You got one single.
Yeah, so Tundra going to be pretty damn happy. I mean, we're 13 minutes in, and just, I mean, there haven't been that many kills. It's a 3K advantage just from laning, essentially.
Yep.
And that neutral, or that ancient camp steal boosted them by 1K alone.
Yeah, one of the big discrepancies here is just BZM has 40 CS more than Nothing to Say on the Tiny. And usually Tiny in melee versus melee matchups does quite well, but Kunkka just pushes out his wave and he gets extra. He goes to side camps, he takes stacks, he steals some of your stuff. He's better at laning in the early levels than you are, so you can build this kind of an advantage. Now, 4K is by no means a death sentence here for the Radiant lineup, but it is a little bit concerning when you're running this greedy of a composition that if your early laning stage doesn't go too well, who do you look to for plays if not Nothing to Say? It's kind of the only playmaker in your lineup together with a disruptor, so they have to play in tandem as they are doing right now. They will claim this tower at the very least, but Tundra getting a lot out of this. They're setting up shop bottom, probably already on their minds. 15-minute Tormentor. Would love to get that. They have good heroes for it. TA is a great hero for killing the Torm. A lot of single target physical damage. She blocks a lot of the reflection. Can't do it alone, though, I think. I've lost a little bit of touch with that, with just how well heroes solo it. There was one point when Ursa soloed it without trouble. Now it seems like it's a little bit hit or miss. I'm assuming TA +1 could do it with double meld.
I mean, the second unit probably dies, doesn't it?
Oh, if it's TA Kunkka, I think, for example,
Okay,
they
sure.
should be able to do it. But
Chrysalis working on his Deso, just basically another Mithril away.
yeah, he's just flat out completely free farming. Tidebound showing no interest in.
I mean, I do feel like Tidebound are tied, no pun intended, to the Blink Dagger that Nothing to Say is trying to farm up. He's still about 500-600 away from that, but they can't really make many moves without it.
But then why was he in 2 smokes? If they think this is important, then he should be.
Do you want to
farming
pause the game and ask them? We could do that.
Yeah, we could do that.
As Y gets taken out.
We get 1 pause a game. Wasn't that what we established yesterday?
Yeah,
we got a 2-minute pause.
True.
So if you pause, I'm going to run in there.
As this Tormy will be a freebie for Tundra.
It's very slow without the TA.
Yeah, stocks are getting it a little bit low, but
Here
comes TA finally showing up to the party. Shard will go to Soxa.
What a dream.
Yeah, that's a good one.
If this didn't go to him, I think he would put in his quick buy instead of
most
the Ags,
likely.
but now he can continue on his path to Ignis. The Will-O-Wisp.
Oh, it's going to be a fast Ignis, actually.
Yeah.
He's already halfway there. What the hell?
That's the thing about Caudle. Like, if the enemy team isn't doing anything,
Yeah, he can just farm the
you're
jungle.
one
he
of the
can
best
stack up.
supports at farming. You get, obviously, if you stack for your cores, you get a percentage whenever they farm it. Kind of fitting for tipping culture here. You do a nice service, get 20%. How much is it now in Dota, actually? I think it's 35 at this point. God, you get so much for stacking compared to what you used to.
Oh, we got a toss back into the Kinetic Fence. BZM all alone. His boat is coming, going to give him some tankiness, but this is a 4 versus 1. He might get the first life of Shiro. He's going to get glimpsed back again, but the X to counter, and then the toss. Man, we got a lot of projectiles in this game. Nothing to say. Finally claims BZM, but you see how long it takes to kill him.
Yep.
That was a 4 versus 1. And they barely get it, and they're still down 6K.
Yeah, I mean, there's no denying it. Tidebound's lineup doesn't have good damage right now. They need items to cover that weakness. It'll take a while. Nice Kinetic Fence there.
Yeah,
But
Sox is going to get help with 33's Burrow Strike. Nothing to Say in a lot of trouble. Going to get a nice toss back using the Avalanche as well. They've already lost Y, and they're going to lose Nothing to Say as well. So it started out as a very long but worth it kill onto the enemy Kunkka, but Team Tidebound ended up losing 2 in return. And now you can see the auras on 33. Pipe, Crimson. Feels like they are close to being ready to go. Is the Deso almost there, I assume? I think it's being delivered, in fact, to the TA.
Oh, they're finding Shiro here. This is the big risk. But the Bone Guard actually scouting for him there, fortunately.
Thank God for those skeletons.
Yep. Well, avoid the gank with the recall. The double recall there from Soxa trying to bring the numbers. But yeah, this is one of the luxuries you have as an offlane Sand King in a game like this. I actually love his choice to not buy Blink. I think it's a great read on the game state that this isn't about, okay, do I get in and get a clutch setup with Blink Stun? Because the enemy team is not really going to put that much pressure on you. So it's about when the fights break out, am I able to just stand my ground? And I can obviously rely on my mid Kunkka with high-level X-Mark to find picks as well. So you don't have to set everything up. You just need to be there and be annoying.
Oh, Y gets a little delivery to the grave.
First Deso charge for Crystalis. 7,000 advantage this early on. I don't know, man. I
mean, would you say that this lineup has just turned out to be too greedy from Tidebound? It's trying to be too cute with the draft?
I'm not sure how much of it is the lineup itself and maybe how much is itemization. I think the part of the way they played the game, Tiny should have had a faster blink, just flat out. They should have found a way to enable that. And once again, so far, I've not been convinced of the choice to put Wraith King safe lane and Terrorblade off lane. I don't think they've got much out of Bach yet. But maybe it'll all make sense when they get their first core items. Now, Medusa has the Meteor Hammer, and she'll try to survive what should be almost certain death, but nice dodge there.
Yeah, a lot of misspells here. Planet as we've talked about many a time, extremely tanky. Onto the other side of the tree line, but will be scouted out by the traps. There's the X. Should be the eventual death. Do they have a stun
Oh
here?
my God,
Planet?
he
He's actually just going to get out. Wow. Was not expecting that.
If you told me a few years ago that we would be seeing position 4 Medusa without split shot, I would be...
That hero's so weird. 33. His TP got canceled.
Well,
Limps back
time to
into the
test your
static storm.
damage.
He's going to get tossed back. As 33, very, very, very tanky. As Shiro is now coming in as well. He's going to try to get off the epicenter, but the Wraithfire Blast just in time, and the crit to bring him down. Big kill for Tidebound. Finally, showing some signs of life.
It took them so long to
Gracious.
get there, but they did get it done eventually.
Is under attack.
But I think it's a good proof of concept when you see that that type of kill on Sand King, just how long it takes. Imagine that is part of a team fight, and he has any sort of protection. A rum buff, if he has a little bit of an Illuminate heal, a Blinding Light, an ET Stomp. They have countless things to make fights inaccessible for Tidebound. So they should be happy to find pickoffs around the map like this, because the flat-on team fights, I just don't see their lineup winning right now. I don't think they stand a chance in a 5v5.
And now there's a Radiance on each respective side. 33 about to respawn. There's nothing to say. Smoke will dissipate here as upon coming next to BZM.
Okay, how many fake casts
That's
do
a
you want
lot.
to do? All right.
X into boat. It's going to connect, but here's the big avalanche onto 3 heroes from nothing to say. Planet. His Meteor Hammer does literally nothing because of the relocation of the Tiny. Nothing to say, though. He is burning out the Kinetic Fence. Not enough to keep them at bay. And this is life number 2, I believe, for the Wraith King. So that's 2 quick kills for Tundra. You can look at their HP across the board. Essentially untouched.
Yeah, rum buff, Illuminate heals, and of course a little bit of a swing and a miss from Planet doesn't help either. I like the idea of the combo of the Avid on 2 heroes into the hammer channel, but as you said, they tossed one of the targets away and the other one just ran to the left.
This is painful to watch.
Yeah, ET Stomp is incredible against this hero.
Yeah, that's true. It's full duration every time because you're not taking actual damage.
We saw this. Used as one of Team Spirit's counter picks to a first pick Medusa, I believe, yesterday. Yeah, well, it would have been yesterday. Obviously, the way Echo Stomp works is you wake up after 250 damage taken, but it only counts health lost, not damage received. So Medusa, all the damage she blocks with the Mana Shield doesn't matter. So it's just flat out a 4.4 second stun.
Sounds good to me.
It is very good. It is one of the hardest counters in Dota.
Well,
and of course,
Tundra,
while you're sleeping her, you're also standing next to her, so you remove her armor too.
Yep, true, true.
Radiant are scanning.
Pretty interesting.
Tundra taking Roshan right now, already at half HP. This will be a freebie for them. And the only question is, how much can they get out of this first Aegis? This is one of the bigger leads that we have seen this early in the game.
And it's one of the most inactive teams that we have seen as well.
Yeah.
I have to say, I'm not a big fan of Tidebound's play in this game. I think the nature of their lineup, this kind of will happen a lot of the time. But I don't think this is how you draft against Tundra. I think this is just flat out too passive. And
Feels
too
kind of like,
contingent
I would
on-
say it feels like an older school mentality, but then the picks are very new school.
Yeah.
So, as the Thunder comes out from Bach onto Whitemon,
Oh
but
my God.
the ET splitter is there, and Chrysalis with the last hit. Another kill going Tundra's way. 11K at 23 minutes. I mean, the scoreline does not have anything. It has no relevance in this game. 6 to 10. That is not how
Have a
things are going.
toss into Static Storm.
Yeah, do they have the damage? It looks like they might. Knight's Kinetic Fence as well, but there's the Ignis Fattest. Doesn't save his comrade as Soxa will attempt to run away, but gets glimpsed back into the fray. Tossed up with the Ava as well. Crimson's going to clip him. Is that going to actually keep him alive? He pops the wand as well. 33 with a nice Burrow Strike onto 2. Soxa staying alive with the Illuminate, and Chrysalis has come to play as well. Y gets taken out as the rest of Team Tidebound try to get the hell out of here. Planet TP is successful. Both Shiro and Nothing to Say need to get out. 33 with a little baby Burrow Strike. As they're just getting stunned by creeps now.
Gets another one from Soxa.
And Shiro, he's going to get slowed. Another recall comes out from Soxa. Burrow Strikes doesn't keep him there. Ignis Fattest again, but A little bit too close to the
Good
base.
stomp.
Stomp onto several heroes. Nothing to say with the Avatos back into the enemy base as well. 33 gets force-stabbed. Another Meteor Hammer doing literally nothing. Another glimpse into the Kinetic Fence. 33 stuck inside that little corner. Actually been pretty effective with these Kinetic Fences. Just do not have any damage.
This is some of the most pitiful output I have seen in a game.
Another toss back.
Try.
That was on Shiro, actually.
Well, that's not great now, is it?
Has nothing to say. Gets destroyed from afar by Crystallis. This is the weirdest game I've cast in quite a while. That was not good coordination there from Tidebound. I hear the echo.
Yeah. Well, that's
the epicenter.
Oh,
same thing. Starts with an E.
Yeah. It might be
hearing voices. Ready to go for Mr. Faith Beyond.
Okay. Well, after what just happened, I think Tundra just keep pushing forever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, okay, like they clearly can't kill your heroes, so what's to stop them?
And Crystallis is the building hitter in this scenario, and he's untouched. There's the epicenter. So only onto Y, but that's going to be enough damage to take him out easily. No buyback for him. Stone Gaze not going to do too much, as fortification is popped. Still 2 minutes on this Aegis, and I mean, they don't have a creep wave. That is the only thing preventing them from pushing any further.
Nice cut there from Bach on stacking up 2 waves, but buying them some much needed seconds here to stabilize a little bit. I'm trying to wrap my head around what you do as Radiant in a game like this. You can't just conjure damage out of thin air, and you could genuinely drop everything you have on the Sand King. I'm not even sure you kill him.
Yeah.
If he has his Pipe and Crimson running and he gets boat buffed, I think he survives. And you're just going to stack yourselves into some sort of insane ET Coddle combo.
They're going to try for Y again. He gets off the Static Storm, though. 33 pushed to the other side. And again, you can see their HP has basically not changed at all.
They're setting him up. He blinked away.
Okay, the X actually gets him out of dodge. And where is their damage?
He can blink again.
Onto 3 heroes. Big Ignis Fatuus. 33 with a missed Burrow Strike. Feel like I've seen more missed spells from these 2 teams than I've seen the entire tournament combined. Either way, this will lead to a full set of racks for Tundra's side.
Oh, he took damage.
And they're still very, very healthy. The Meteor Hammer actually connects on a single hero this time, as Planet can have a 1v1 battle with Crystallis, who gets sundered. Just going to brush it off. Burrow Strike onto 2 to try to counteract this action from Team Tidebound. They're doing 0 damage still, in case you're wondering. Shiro, Illuminate, going to clip him. Right click from afar, actually misses on the low ground. So Crystallis not able to get that first life. Aegis for another 30 seconds. Let's see how disciplined Tundra are. I feel like even without Aegis, they should not fear dying to this lineup right now. What is the power spike for
I'm just thinking back to when this game started and you called this a turbo game. Yeah. And all I can think of now is this is impossible in turbo because eventually you do something, right? You'll have some sort of damage.
Yeah, this is...
Have they got a hero below half health in the last 10 minutes? Serious question. I actually don't even know if they've managed to do that. It's like, oh, they found Planet. Nice torrent.
All right, this will take a while
Ghost
even
Scepter.
for that. Oh, beautiful use of Ghost Scepter.
ET Stomp.
Yep. And he gets... Well, are they actually going to kill him this time? His mana is pretty low. He's put inside a horrible position. It's a 1v5, and he loses.
Done.
Static Storm to
He's
follow.
under half health.
He's actually going to die.
He's
King has died.
They got
Team
a
Tidebound got a single kill. Holy banana slamma jamma. Unbelievable plays. Crystallis now at half HP. No more Aegis to worry about. Nothing to say with the Avalanche Toss combo, but there's a big Echo Stomp again. Nothing to say, getting clipped from the low ground as Crystallis will absolutely clean up. And this is likely to be a continued push from Tundra, despite not having their Sand King.
Are you sure about that?
I mean,
do you not think they're going back in this 4v2 against 2 heroes with 0 damage, or would they stay?
They don't have creeps, so the backdoor will eventually kick in.
They have creeps now, so it did not kick in. Another great insightful comment
the creeps
on your part.
have made it.
They have arrived. Reinforcements are here. I'm hearing an X mark. It's onto Shiro. He does not have ult.
Tidal Wave on top of him. That's the buyback onto the Tiny, but Shiro, he's just going to die. It's too late to save him, my friends. Crystallis with a Hurricane Pike onto the low ground. He's going to be just fine as he deletes the Disruptor. There's a buyback available for Shiro, but they've already had the dieback onto nothing to say, as Planet will stone gaze in the most pathetic form I've seen this side of the Mississippi, Cinder, and his Planet will be able to get away because he is quite tanky, like the entirety of Tundra.
What's on the other side of the Mississippi?
There's two sides to the Mississippi, Cinderin.
And it's more pathetic on the other one.
Sure, depending on your perspective.
Well, that's what you said.
Don't listen to what I say. Nothing makes sense anymore. Big tidal wave onto two heroes. Bach with a nice thunder, and he instantly dies. And instantly GG's. This was a Gaben level shellac, and my God, it wasn't even remotely close. Tundra decimate Tidal. Cinderin, tell me about it. I'll tell you about it. It's good. They buffed everything about this facet. Do you believe?
You know what I believe? I believe in Tundra in general in this game. And I do think the bike, well, it's not a bike. We've talked about this. It only has one wheel. It will play an instrumental role once. I will give you an over-under of 1
Yes.
of times this matters. And I will say 1.
I'm going to say it's way more than 1.
Okay.
Because this is the reason, Senator. Let's talk about what they changed. I forget what they changed with the pie. Do you remember? Because I don't. Did they add a slow to it or something? You throw a pie at somebody and they get...
slowed and blinded.
Oh, that's the new part then.
Or they lose vision, rather.
They lose vision and they're blind. Okay. And then the second one is Crystal Ball, which will actually show you where the units are in that area. They won't show you what the units are, but they'll show you where they are. There. Perfect pause. Thank you. This is our pause that we were trying to get for last game. And of course, the unicycle. Two big changes that make this very good. The first 2 seconds after you get on it, the damage does not matter. So you can use this to actually get away. That was the main issue with it before. Plus, you can actually cast spells while unicycling, and it will not break the unicycle.
I feel like this is some sort of infomercial, and you're trying to
Buy
sell me...
a unicycle today.
Call 555. Isn't that what all those selling numbers start with?
1-800-UNICYCLE.
1-800, that's right, not 555. 555 how you laugh and tie.
No,
Sorry, I got the mistake.
555 is what they use in movies, which you wouldn't know because you don't watch them. For fake numbers, Cinderella.
Oh. Well, I wasn't
It's
that
designated for movies and TV.
I see.
And now esports, of course.
Yes.
The unicycle, I mean, the fact that you can cast spells while using it means it's going to have more than one big impact into the games.
I think it would look really cool with Ringmaster biking through and then using Shiva.
That is blurst.
I want to see that. We want to see it, Whitemon. Shiva first.
Let's
get there.
What the fuck? Jesus. All right, that actually really messed with my mind here. Got to get back into the cast. Game number 2. Jeez.
Yeah, okay. Well, take your time.
Don't show that tomato on the screen again, please. It's really disturbing. So bottom lane, we have Shiro this time playing terribly. So they've learned that this hero did not work for them in the off lane. Is now position 1 again. Yep. And we have the good old-fashioned Faith Beyond off lane Magnus as Planet taking a lot of damage. Gonna take a boundless strike, and he's just dead. Whitemon will claim it.
I wish Tidebound the best of luck in their top lane. This one's gonna be rough, I think. You chose to pick Magnus into Monkey King, and it's arguably the best carry Monkey King player in the entire world that you did it against. And you're trying to cover your bases through the attack speed slow of Phoenix.
Oh boy.
But whenever the Fire Spirits are down, you don't stand a chance here.
Oh boy.
And
That's
they're
a
just gonna
second kill now.
Yeah.
This is a disaster already. Well, not just potentially the best Monkey King player in the world. I would say the best Ringmaster in the world in Whitemon. Yeah. He was an absolute beast at Wallachian. So far this tournament, he's looked quite swell as well.
I've got some good news for you, Shannon.
What's that?
Whitemon has 2 assists. You know what that means?
Unicycle!
The bike is ready.
He's got it.
It's lined up.
I will say, the picture of the unicycle does not truly do it justice. I feel like this should be redesigned as 33. Taking a lot of damage in the bot lane as Y on the Elder Titan will claim him.
It's very important for Tidebound that the other 2 lanes go well because I have zero faith in their top lane. I just think they drafted themselves into a corner in that lane when the moment they picked Magnus. They had no way of placing their lanes so that they could win top.
What would you have liked instead of Magnus?
I mean, I'm not saying the pick itself is bad because it depends what you're looking at in the big picture. You just knowingly lost this lane and the payoff needs to be worth it. Obviously, there's other off-lane heroes that can lane quite well against Monkey King, but maybe they don't fit what they were looking for with this teamfight prowess. And they definitely didn't want to put Terrorblade there, right? Kind of
Another
just
boundless strike, and the poke continues from Whitemon. But yeah, they also gave up Nature's Prophet as the panel we're talking about. This has been kind of the hero of the last few months, I want to say.
Yep.
So giving up that willingly against a Tiny in the mid lane. We'll get caught up on that lane just a bit as Y is getting slow to a crawl. This will eventually be a kill. Can he deny himself to the Centaur? Creeps! No, 33 will take it.
Yeah, it's true. Like, giving Nature's Prophet and Monkey King to Tundra, you really need to know what you're doing. So either this is just going to prove to be a complete mistake from Tidebound, or there's going to be some stroke of genius here. But so far, so good for Tundra. Crystallis is off to the races here. 1,000 net worth ahead of Magnus in 3 minutes. Dwarfing everybody else. Obviously, he has the 2 kills as well, or 1 kill, 1 assist, rather. And realistically, it's only going to get worse, because Prophet is going to get level 6. And then they can kill with Wrath of Nature as well. He can skill teleportation and join it.
Y is dead again.
Yep.
Oh,
probably.
Does get a little bit of extra
not,
HP on the tower, but 33 doesn't care about the tower. He will take some residual damage from Shiro, but it is just the Terrorblade level 3 at the moment. Not too much to fear. As Whitemon with the whip still has the unicycle available in case you guys are wondering. That does not go away unless you use it. And we're going to keep very close attention. Of course, the observers will be fired if they don't catch the first unicycle usage. As Crystal is taking a lot of damage. Nice bounce strike onto 2 heroes, though. Planet gets off a good fire spirit, but Crystal should be able to finish the job, and indeed he does. And Bach very low on HP.
It might be time to pull out the bike now, Whitemon.
We'll see. Gets shockwaved.
Bikemon.
Whitemon can't get the blocks off, but he has the whip. Fears them away. One more right click will suffice, but they can't get in range. The unicycle could have given you that range. Not going to backseat a pro player here, but I just did. As Bach makes it to the high ground, and Planet will TP for a little bit of support.
Yeah, they don't kill the Magnus, but he does have to go back to base. So it's still a...
This again,
you betcha. There's going to be a lot of balking for him in this game. He's going to be retreating quite a bit. Crystallis does get sent home too, though. Like a nice game of Ludo. Planet will force him out.
What is
you don't get that reference because you don't play games, you only watch movies.
What is Ludo?
It's a board game.
Is it European?
Maybe. Maybe there's no American equivalent.
Okay.
It is a very famous game, though. It's very simple.
Ah, it sounds like I'd love it.
Yep. Yeah, you love board games. A little known fact about you.
Avatos, BZM, Shockwave. Bach makes his way to the mid lane, so that will help out Nothing to Say quite a bit.
Yeah, nice little gank, and he's Bach to the top lane.
God, Jesus. Never gets old, huh? Never was fresh, if I had to say.
Come on, man. When I make a good joke, you've got to Bach me up.
Wait, he used the unicycle.
Huh?
No! He used it at some point.
Oh my, I didn't see it either.
He has Crystal Ball equipped, which is boring.
Oh my god.
Unbelievable.
That is not okay, Whitemon.
It was not a very impactful unicycle, unfortunately. We hyped it up so much. And Whitemon, I mean, the only time we've ever cast the unicycle was him, and it was before, like I said, before it was buffed, and it was terrible. Of course, they still won. Whitemon had 0 impact on that game.
That is highly incorrect.
It's close enough.
BZM cracking 6. Let's see if this will be put to use. Immediately has it skilled, and he has an Arcane Rune running, so he would probably love to use it. The Wrath of Nature. One of the more potent spells at killing Terrorblade in lane. Of course, this hero has relatively weak base health and very bad teeth, so can do a ton of damage with the Wrath of Nature. She sent it across the entire map. We'll be Planet receiving a little bit of harassment here from Whitemon, though, but they're not really looking to overextend too much. It's about time to get wiser, and 33 will be one of the recipients. The other one will be Planet. So the 2 supports on the Tidebound side. We didn't talk about this too much. Their supports are extremely level dependent. You really want ET and Phoenix to get toward their ults so they can find the impact that they need. And in this game compared to the previous game, my criticism about Nothing to Say getting a slow dagger, really hope for them this time around that he focuses more on getting that at a reasonable timing. He has an easier lane matchup this time, so that's good news. He's not laning against the Kunkka, but the Prophet, this should be a faster dagger. And he's also going for the treads instead of phase boots, which makes your farming speed all the faster too. So probably will be a better game here for Tidebound. I think that's what everybody's kind of hoping for, since the last game left a lot to be desired. And it will start from that mid lane.
Echo Stomp not going to hit anybody. They all separate. And Shiro and Y kind of huddling up under the tier 1 for cover. We'll see if Tundra can make something work. I mean, are they happy with how the lanes are going? Because this is much more even than last game.
I think overall it's probably fine, but I would say usually Tundra would squeeze out a little bit more of an advantage of this than they have. They're trying to do that just now. Onto Bach.
Yep, he's in a bit of trouble. He's going to get whipped. Crystallis has the Jingu. Not going to get the last hit, though. Nothing to say coming in with the haste. Has the avalanche tossed onto the Monkey King. Crystallis tries to get a little bit of HP with the Jingu, but it's not enough. Might be a trade for nothing to say, although he cannot be slowed at the moment. Looks like he'll be able to trickle off away. So a big kill there for Team Tidebound.
Now, if Prophet could have connected earlier on that with teleportation, that could have worked out better for the side of Tundra, but a nice find. Big kill on the Monkey King. This is the type of game where we were expecting Crystallis to really snowball that early laning advantage, but he's been slowed down quite a bit. Now he's only 700 ahead of the... Oh, nice combo up top, by the way.
Big Avatos with the Echo Stomp as well. Whitemon is dead. If Crystallis dies here,
again, this is real bad.
Boundless Strike onto 2. Is it anybody coming to help? It doesn't look like it. He's just going to tick away.
That is...
Planet gets the last hit for him, and 2 deaths back-to-back for Crystallis. A disaster now for Tundra in this top lane.
Yeah, that is crippling. TP back into dying immediately. That's his entire advantage out the window, basically. And now Shiro will gate through and look to connect with his team to take this tower. Obviously, one of the main benefits of Terrorblade in the carry position is these rotations, when they are successful, they often lead to a little bit of real estate. And he will claim it for himself, so closing in on the #1 net worth player in the game. That is 33. On the Bristleback, he has an advantage from all of these stacks that he just farmed up. A nice and fast level 9 at 10 minutes, not too shabby. For comparison, Bach is level 6. A little bit of a difference between the two.
Just slightly. They're grouping up in the bot lane, try to push this tower as Y runs into Whitemon. Soxa in the area as well, but the dive from Planet, nothing to say, trying to close the gap as well. Gets the avalanche. Soxa is seen. Up in the air he goes. Echo Stomp should be enough with a casual right click. Tree is thrown to finish the job.
Planet is 6.
Big Wrath of Nature's Planet. He's going to get whipped. Has the egg. Will use it. It's nothing to say. Trying to use it as cover. Now they're going to try to kill the egg. Nice avalanche to try to slow them down a bit.
Oh,
but Planet just barely gets the egg popped. We'll turn around onto Whitemon. No whip for you. Planet will likely... Oh, he's going to try the Sunray trick onto the other side. Yeah, he'll eventually bounce back into the tomato creep and die to a casual cool spray from 33.
Still not too bad overall there from Tidebound. Despite losing the Phoenix after the Supernova, they reacted quite well to the situation. But Tundra will not be slowed down, of course. Prophet does what Prophet does best and pushes the tower. And then he does what he does second best, which is farm more than anyone. So... you know what? He just does everything best. Maybe you should ban this hero. Who knows?
Yeah, best body.
Yeah.
He is a beast. I mean, how many games has he been banned?
A lot. I don't know if he's 100% contest rate, but I actually think he still is. Picked or banned every game.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. And it feels like he's very versatile in the fact that he can, I mean, obviously he can play in multiple positions, but it feels like he fits in any lineup almost. Right? Like, is there ever a line where like, I don't feel like...
Exactly, because he's so flexible. He can play all roles, and he is just very strong at different things in the game. He's good at laning. He's good at rotating. He's good at scaling and pushing. And he has a nice body.
He's ripped.
What do you think he does best in the gym?
If I could name a single thing...
oh, yeah, maybe that was bad. What do you think is his favorite movie?
Oh, his favorite movie. Oh. Probably a nature documentary.
Oh.
Boring stuff.
Yep.
As Shiro will go into meta form to pressure this tier 1 mid as the Blink Dagger. Oh, BZM actually gets gone on by Nothing to Say and Planet. That's another big kill for Tidebound.
This game, it's night and day how much Nothing to Say is doing compared to game one. It's just a totally different showing. And this is what they needed to happen for Tidebound, so this is a very good sign. If Nothing to Say wasn't popping off, they would definitely be losing this game right now, but they're keeping it equalized, and that is good enough. You look at their heroes and how they scale. This Radiant lineup is stupid strong in the late game. Two of the best late game supports. You combine it with RP, BKB Piercing Stun, a Tiny to set things up in one of the hardest carries in the game in Terrorblade. Late game is probably not that big of a concern overall.
Whitemon trying to get away, doesn't have his unicycle, so he's doomed. Nothing you can do, my friend. He will be casually taken out by Bach.
Yep.
So double blink online for Tidebound, and both the Magnus and the Tiny. And you would think that this means they want to get ultra aggressive from here on out. And for the side of Tundra.
Oh, see you later, Soxa.
Yep, the old Avatos. Soxa is dead. This is exactly what we talked about. Nothing to Say, and just Tiny mids in general have to get involved early. They have to snowball, and we're seeing that right now.
And it is a pretty good game overall for Tiny, I would say. There are, I guess the biggest pitfall is maybe something like Monkey King ult if you have committed in and you then get stuck in the ring and you take a ton of damage, but there's not a lot of like really strong single target lockdown that prevents you from weaving in and out of fights. There's not too much stuff canceling your Blink Dagger when you're moving around the map. So imagine Nothing to Say can kind of keep the ball rolling here. And for Tundra, it does feel like this support duo that they're running here between the Jakiro and Ringmaster is not necessarily the best that we've seen from them in terms of getting stuff done early. So they do need to combine with Chorus and find the moves, and they will do that just now with a 4-man smoke. Looking for Shiro, but Nothing to Say. They're breaking them.
Can he get a big avalanche? He does onto several heroes. They're going to get the Wukong's command off of Shiro, trying to shrug this off, gets off the Sunder. They've already lost their Tiny, though. And I believe that means Tidebound need to run away. Shiro, no Sunder, RP onto 3 heroes with the beautiful skewer into the egg as well. The egg will pop successfully as BZM will be burned to a crisp. And just like that, a huge turnaround, 4 for 1. After losing Nothing to Say at the start of the fight, they still come out on top.
Yeah, he had a tough start to the lane, but what a comeback. Just gets in there with the dagger. Immediately just picks up that item. He's Bach in business.
Will you shut the Bach up?
That's awesome RP, skewers them next to the egg. I believe there was also a nice ET stomp in the middle of that, and that honestly looked like it could have got really scary with the opener to that fight, but Planet kept a good distance, got everything off, and yeah, that is the risk you take when you pile up as a group against this type of lineup. You have to be wary of it. And ironically, Fear was talking about this on the panel. He was like, yeah, I mean, it's nice that you have Mag, Phoenix, and ET. If you catch everyone, they're going to die, but this is Tundra. They're not going to stack 2 heroes. He was right. They were going to stack 4 heroes. And that's even better. So, well, they'll try to take advantage of the long cooldowns at the very least and get the Tormentor for themselves, and that is a freebie.
Tormy's coming.
And they will go to Whitemon, so he gets the Spotlight. This does damage to illusions. So that's quite nice against Terrorblade.
I need to read it again because I know they changed some stuff. Let's see. Yeah.
Illusions lose
they fade away
50% of their max health each second.
So it doesn't fully kill them.
That's a lot.
But they do a lot of damage.
Every second. It lasts 8 seconds.
Yeah, but it's not gonna. It's while the spotlight's on them.
Yeah, right? Yeah, that's true. I mean, they kind of need to stay in the light then.
As do we all.
Yeah.
Oh, we got the unicycle. All right, Whitemon, let's see this. Let's see the new and improved unicycle. Have you learned how to use it? It's just like riding a Bach. Never forget.
I knew you would come around.
It's the worst one so far.
It's infectious. No, I thought it was pretty good. I like it because it actually, you didn't actually say a word with back, so I'm impressed.
Thank you.
You did a good job.
I look for your approval in everything I do. 2K lead for Team Tidebound. I mean, that Tormentor feels like it cut the lead in half, strangely enough. That's what 1,400 gold will do for you. But we're going to see a smoke now from Tidebound.
Yep, looking for a wraparound. They're drawing the, I was going to say the line, but that's not what lines look like. They're drawing a path toward BZM, but he makes the right map read. Gets out in time. Gets over toward his own Ancients, but they are farmed, so a little bit of waste of time there. But of course, avoiding the gank is the primary thing on his mind right now. Do they have? They do have 2 wards with them here for Tidebound, so it's not a complete miss if they don't find anyone. Making this rotation and getting good vision off from the smoke can be very valuable for later attempts. And it looks like they might get a little Soxa snack as well as he shows on the wave.
Yes, he will.
And he's gone.
Goodbye, Soxa. He's playing a tankier here than we're used to seeing for him.
Well, death finds a way, as they say.
And we're still waiting for that unicycle.
Yeah.
It's going to happen at some point. I promise you.
33 under a ward. Bach thinking about it.
Yeah, he is.
He will skewer him Bach.
Well,
he will not. He will
not
look at him.
do that. Okay, gets off the shockwave. Planets from the other side. He's going to use the RP instead. The Sunray just decimating the Bristleback. Skewer will find the kill. Wukong's command on top of the egg. Crystals and company, they do take it out. So it's a 1-for-1. Avatos coming in, or just a toss, in fact, from nothing to say. The Wheel of Wonder only onto 1 unit. They've lost their Ringmaster. And Tundra likely trying to back away. Crystallis has the tree line to his advantage.
Oh, Bach
should be fine.
Everything to break the right trees, but not getting him. So 2 for 1, but it's a great trade for Tidebound once again. And this would be the primary kill, the crown jewel.
And that's going to be an easy one too. Very greedy, taking out the enemy triangle. And yeah, that ward definitely showing it.
Yeah, it's interesting, right, that Tidebound have this defensive ward from 5 minutes ago, because it hasn't really felt like they have needed defensive coverage here, but it can obviously end up killing the Nature's Prophet when he goes to farm offensively, since he needs to go somewhere. Did see the spotlight there, just kill off some terrible illusions. It looked very effective at doing so.
33 with the Crimson Guard, and we'll be going for the Glimmer, it looks like. Quite a different game for him in this game number 2.
This is not an easy Bristle game at all.
He might have had like maybe 4 items at this point, it felt like, last game.
Yeah, he definitely had Pipe and Crimson at 20, I think. But
felt invincible.
The thing that's an issue here is Phoenix and ET are really good at doing percentage-based damage. So if you're playing a tanky hero strategy with heroes like Bristleback, it's hard to itemize correctly. You're always going to feel like you wanted to buy something else than what you did. Because if you just flat out get raw health, you're still taking too much. Like, raw health doesn't work very well against percentage-based damage, but resistances are also hard to come by against heroes like Phoenix and ET, because if you cover the magic component, well, Terrablaze is going to eat you. Yeah. So it is tough.
Nothing to say. Another Avatos back, as 33 is going to be greeted by Shiro. There's the spotlight. It's going to show them that Ringmaster is here and ready to fight.
You see how fast the illusion died there? It's pretty effective, honestly.
It's better. I think maybe it used to be a lot worse because there was only, I think there was only 1 spotlight before, right?
Yeah, that's right. They turned it into the trio that like cycles around.
Yeah. So
speaking of cycles,
not better than I thought.
Used the unicycle yet?
Yep, true.
You have it on white
really hyped this into oblivion, it seems like.
It would be really funny if he ends up using it twice this game and we have none of them on camera. Yeah. I kind of want that to happen. I would enjoy that.
Why? Why would you want everyone to suffer?
I am sick in the head.
You're such a sadist.
Yes. Rotation through the gate. Tidebound. Oh, they find BZM again. It's such a big kill and it's so easy.
Yeah, he can't do too much about it. Sunray will decimate him as well. Wait, into the tree line, into the Sprout Planet will eventually get the kill.
What happened?
That was a little weird, but...
Did he dive underwater?
Regardless, they find the kill, but Tundra not afraid to go into the pit and take Roche.
Yeah,
I mean, losing their position, losing their mid does suck. But maybe it's worth it with the Aegis, if they can get good value out of said Aegis.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how they're going to use it. They put it on 33, but can you find the type of team fight where you would put this to use? Feels like in the team fighting aspect, the Tidebound lineup is just way superior. So, got to be really careful about how you select the fights. I think ideally Tundra don't want a team fight at all until they have at least 1 BKB. The Prophet one is coming relatively close. Monkey King, though, he is so far away. It's kind of crazy to look at the net worth distribution now and then remember that Chrysalis was 1,000 ahead of Magnus minute 3.
True.
Like, it's crazy how hard he fell off in this game with the start that he had. And just, you know, credit to a couple of good team fight moves from Tidebound, especially the one in the bottom half where they found that fat RP just completely changed the complexion of the game. Now they are the ones on the front foot, pushing it toward mid. They find Soxa. Well,
yeah,
Soxa
they find
finds
some
them.
food. Soxa is delicious. And that's a pretty, I mean, I don't know. Okay, that's a big skew onto the low ground. 33 is going to get Shivas. That is the Aegis carrier, so it'll take them a while. The box from Whitemon, he's just going to die to the illusions. My goodness, and 33 still drops regardless of that. Chris is going to use the Wukong command on basically everybody, but it feels like a solo job right now. He gets Avatos and destroyed. They're going to even find another onto 33, the second death for him. And just like that, their base is completely opened up. We haven't seen the unicycle, and Team Tidebound might be just getting a huge advantage here and possibly a win. Goddamn unicycle!
You should have taken the Carney Classics. I knew it. It changed everything.
The backdoor protection kicks in. Players killed in the meantime.
Yep. Well, they will respawn quickly at the very least, but that is the base power gone, and I think now you just call off the push if you are Tidebound.
Or not.
I mean, this is kind of greedy. Yeah, they will
actually destroyed it.
Oh,
right.
wait, nice pre-euls from Whitemon into the wheel.
Use the Wheel of Wonder as well. And Bach gonna get healed up a bit, gets to the low ground, will skewer away as well as Planet will TP out. Tidebound might be getting out with everyone's lives.
They will.
TP will be successful for Bach as well.
That was excellent spell casting from Whitemon, but they get nothing out of it. The pre-euls into perfect wheel placement, into the whip. They were a tiny bit late on the ice path, though maybe they could have kept Magnus a little bit longer in that macro pyre and perhaps set up a follow-up something to get the kill. But they get absolutely nothing out of it, and they lose their base tower. The melee barracks half health, they will start regenerating. It's going to take a while before they're back up to full. But I don't think Tidebound are interested in trying to high ground without a teamfight win first. So
I mean, they high grounded against an Aegis because of the ability of Magnus to just isolate a hero all by themselves, even a Bristleback.
I mean,
dies twice.
Terrorblade also got a basically flawless Sunder. Shiro piked forward and was on 15% HP, so he just killed Bristleback with one spell.
Yeah, pretty dirty stuff.
More or less the ideal situation there coming out from Tidebound. Kind of fascinating how last game they had no damage, and in this game they're just absolutely bursting everything.
Yeah,
it's funny how things can change from one game to the next.
I feel like the Sunray has been instrumental.
Yeah, for sure. It was a banned hero in game 1. Worth keeping in mind, Tundra did ban the Phoenix, but Planet picked it in the earlier phase this time. I think it was one of the last bans from Tundra in game 1. And Planet grabbed it in the second phase of this draft. Put it to good use. He is one of the Phoenixes out there. He's been... A lot of people have been singing his praises since he made a splash in the scene, and it was actually mainly this hero that opened the eyes to a lot of players that this guy's good. So, flat-out trademark hero for him.
Smoke doesn't really result in too much. They do take the enemy outpost, though. Get a little bit of extra map control as a result. And, I mean, Roche won't be up anytime soon. Not even remotely close.
He dies, by the way.
Yeah, maybe it's worth it, Cinderin.
Did you notice his build?
On Soxa?
Drum Dragonlance.
Wow.
That is interesting.
Okay, and he's going Hurricane Pike. He's actually finishing it.
Yeah.
Huh.
Not something you see every day.
No. No, definitely not. That is interesting. I've seen it in some turbo games. When they go right-click. Usually have it with a Witchblade or something, though, Parasma. So he is spotted. He takes out the wave successfully. And 33 didn't even notice. He was soloing the Tormentor. Soxa will be found and destroyed. So BZM gets the shard.
Not bad. Crystal the Old Growth for free is nice. It's obviously a very well-worthy trade to lose your Jakiro for the Tormentor. The question is if you can protect the Roche. That's spawning in 3 minutes if it's early. And it feels like that is what Tidebound are waiting for. They want to get the Aegis and then force that high ground play in mid. And the good news for them in terms of high grounding is I actually think Tundra's high ground defense is pretty bad this game. It's something that most teams draft very heavily around, is having this great zone control and long-range artillery style heroes. You've got Jakiro, which is pretty good, and you have one Wukong's Ring, but that's it. There's nothing else. There's no displacement ability like Skewer or Toss there. As a matter of fact, both on Tidebound. And therefore, they don't even need the Aegis. They're not worried. Damn, these illusions get eaten alive by that.
Yeah, wow.
But still, yeah, the lack of displacement, the lack of ways of forcing a favorable fight for Tundra makes Shiro and company comfortable with just getting to work.
Melee Rack's taken out in the mid lane. Shiro and company moving on to the bot. This is a butterfly on Shiro as there's the horn toss, but a nice boundless strike to disconnect him from the skewer. Big Wheel of Wonder plays, but nobody's actually gonna be hit. The double RP, and then Bach just TP or blinks away. They're able to get a lot of damage onto the Monkey King, but he barely gets out of dodge. Another spotlight comes out as Chrysalis on the tree line. BKB gets a balance strike onto one. We'll try to keep everybody at bay. He's gonna get whipped onto nothing to say, and that's gonna be the first death of this fight. This push is over. A good defense there from Tundra. Thought for a moment that Chrysalis was gonna die there, but good box as always from Whitemon.
Yeah, looked like a nice setup with the Echo Stomp into the full-on burst combo, but they couldn't really deal damage in the RP. I think that was the big difference maker, was the Wukong's command was already out. So the RP from Bach didn't really do as much as he would have hoped, since he had already fished with the skewer. He couldn't skewer them out with the RP. And the fight became a little bit of a mess. And Tundra capitalized, they TP in the Prophet behind, and they show off their fresh BKBs. That's a big thing there, right? BZM as well as Chrysalis used the 9-seconders for that fight. It's obviously going to be harder and harder to find the same value from them as time goes by. But they hold on.
Thank God we have a pause.
Yeah, just what we needed.
That means we can talk again about unicycles.
Yeah, I still haven't seen it.
The impact that it's had on this game. What do you think of it so far?
Been really impressed.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for elaborating. God, why? Why does that keep coming up?
Does that not remind you of Teletubbies? It really reminds me.
It does, except it's even creepier, which is really impressive.
That is honestly quite great job to the artist and to Valve for whatever reason putting that in the game.
Why would they put
that abomination? Quite shocking.
You know, Slacks puts together the worst cosmetics in like how they look together, right?
Yeah, Zai used to do that too.
And his treants are those, because those are the most blurst.
Makes sense.
Easily. BZM having some trouble right now.
I think that is an art that more pro players should explore. It's always fun to see how Zai used to equip his heroes in the worst possible way. Very nice dramatic fade there, really showing the cinematography education that our wonderful observers have.
Oh man, that thing is the worst.
Yeah.
Actually the worst.
Can you put it over Sox's face? And then do like a morph, so like fade it in and out, so he's half potato, half tomato, half man. For me, we've got time for it.
Half tomato, half man. That sounds so awful. I love it.
Modern day centaur.
Did you see the centaur set in on the workshop that was posted on Reddit?
Oh yeah, which one?
It's the one where he's dressed up as a donkey.
Yeah, it looks like a courier.
It is unbelievably. It's never going to get in, but if it did,
you say that. We have Ogre dressed up as Jakiro.
I rarely buy cosmetics these days.
Anything
I would 100% buy that one. Man, oh man, what a dream. Well, we have 10 in the game. Think
Going ready, says BZM.
So any power spikes here in terms of itemization, Cinderin?
Well, the BKBs kind of was the one I was looking forward to for Tundra, and they did showcase why that was important in that fight. But as for next items, Nature's Prophet is close to the brooch, which will definitely help.
Radiant are scanning.
And I kind of think that's it, what you can really look forward to in the near future for them. The side of Tidebound, closing in on... What is that? Is that... Oh, he actually wants to go Refresher next on Mag. Oh, they found Soxa again. Well...
Yep, we'll try to TP out. Oh, he actually will get
all
out.
Their stuns.
Okay.
Clutch TP out there. They're pretty close to a BKB on Terrorblade and an AC on Tiny, so these will be two massive items when they arrive. But there's a little bit of breathing room here for Tundra, and they're only 3K behind, so the numbers themselves don't look too bad. It's more about the overall like story and the value of the net worth where I'm a little bit more concerned, because this Tidebound lineup just looks ridiculous late game. You got to be so careful about your positioning. And ideally for Tundra, what you try to do is you try to like bait the bristle. And if Tidebound overcommit or lose formation a little bit, then you can punish it by finding angles. Like Monkey King needs to flank, Prophet needs to teleport in behind. You need to get a good wheel off and make the fight chaotic. The more structured it is, the easier it is for Tidebound to win. So try to hit it from multiple angles.
Well, as you talked about, Shiro has the BKB now.
Yep.
He's in fighting shape for sure as BZM. He's going to get Horn Toss, skewer up into the arms of Y. Has to pop the BKB, but the RP is there. And this will be the death of BZM.
They know he doesn't have buyback too. He just bought the brooch. They're probably just flat out going straight high ground with this. Defending without Prophet is next to impossible. He's such a big portion of their net worth. So I would really love to see them try to force the high ground here. The alternative is to just take a safe Roche. I'm cool with that too.
I think this is fine.
Honestly, this is probably just flat out safer. You don't necessarily, you can't 100% say for sure that he doesn't have buyback. And you might be able to get both. You push this or you kill this so fast because of the serrated shiv that you can still look to high ground immediately after. You've got 35 seconds. The bottom wave is close enough that it's almost by the base. Actually kind of surprising to not see Tundra immediately try to deal with this exact wave. If they would have killed this, they would have bought their Prophet enough time to respawn for this defense, but now they're going to have to deal with buying another 15 seconds when the high ground push comes in now from Shiro.
Yeah, but don't worry. Whitemon has his unicycle ready to go, along with the spotlight. Actually, the placement not the best, but he has the whip to keep these illusions at bay.
It's already too late, I think.
Fortifications popped. I mean, they're going to have their 5 in just a moment. 33 going to try to tank this up. We'll pop the Crimson as well, as Whitemon will continue throughout the darts, but the Roshan's banner is placed, so these creeps are not going to be taking any damage, and it will in fact be a melee Rax. The skew rat, and my goodness, Soxa just gets destroyed right off the bat. As 33 and company, you're going to see the Wheel of Wonder place. Trying to run away is nothing to say, but he gets beat to oblivion. That's a buyback now into Soxa, and now we're in a 4v5 situation, not including the Aegis. The Shiro going to get gone on by Chrysalis. Pops the BKB. He's just going to TP out the Boundless Strike, but they kill him inside of the BKB, and now he's going to be greeted by a Wukong's command. The ET ult is placed, but not going to do too much. And Tundra, they find some valuable kills, but it cost them another melee barracks.
That's 2 lanes down, but honestly, I think that's a really good defense. That was against the Aegis.
Unicycle was used!
I didn't see it again.
Damn it!
Was it? He has it again.
No, I'm 100%. He used all 3 spells.
Okay.
I did
not see the bike.
He probably just used it so he could use the other one. He wanted to use the pie.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Why?
There was a couple of things that were really crucial in that fight. Number one, Bach didn't have RP. Otherwise, they just win the game. I think he was in a great position to do a 2-hero RP after he got the skewer off, but Tundra aware of this and take advantage of that. And the second thing is, nothing to say never got the BKB off. So we're getting the tail end of the fight here.
The unicycle!
Oh, there it is.
The unicycle!
Oh my god.
What a great usage of unicycle!
That is one way to get dismounted, to get bumped off of the bike.
Damn it, Whitemon. What are you doing to us?
Well, he has another one.
Yeah, he has attempt number 3 unicycle. Gracious. Okay, well that push was, I mean, it's essentially net worth-wise, at this point, I would call this an even game. Yeah. But the 2 melee racks, feels like that does matter quite a bit. There's still a tier 2 top, so if Tidebound want to try to go for the megas, that is the avenue in which they'd have to take that outer tower first.
But I think they would be wise to just calm down a little bit here, considering they're this close to mega items. Magnus almost has Refresher. The Tiny is close to AC. Phoenix also kind of close to Refresher. So these massive, massive items, and Shiro almost has his brooch as well. So the power spike that they're finding within the next 3 minutes, if they don't lose a fight right now, is enormous. There's nothing on the docket here for Tundra that's going to match that power. They did, of course, get some stuff of their own off the defense that they had. Monkey King with the MKB Crystal is completed. The Nature's Prophet is working on Parasma. That could perhaps be there in time for the fight as well. So, not like they're without anything, but it's like the items coming, the Radiant
scan is successful, so Team Tidebound know that Tundra are here.
Bach was thinking about Bristol, but does have the refresher ready. Bach is very, very strong right now. He's not going to kill the heroes himself, but he will set them up.
Yeah, this will be
This top tower's gone.
a pivotal fight. Yeah, I don't think you can defend this one.
The next wave will arrive, and then Shiro will just solo it with illusions. But maybe not. Tundra actually trying for a little bit of a surprise backstab here.
Okay.
Nothing to say would be the one to break it. He could maybe make a move himself. Sees Whitemon.
He gets
Good
broken. He
reaction.
blinks instantly. Dart's going to miss, but nothing to say. Getting slowed to a crawl by several instances here. As Shiro, he finds Crystallis, but he just jumps over his head.
Heroes.
Oh, that's not good. Nothing to say. Has to pop his BKB. They have a second one to work with those. 33 is put into a box. He's taking a lot of damage. Pops the Crimson Guard. Doesn't seem to matter too much. He gets Horn Tossed into his death. The egg finally goes off as Whitemon with a Wheel of Wonder. It's going to connect onto one hero, but that's a Terrorblade. Really important. Bach looking for an RP. Will you find anyone with this second one? He does. It's two. Saving Shiro just barely trying to run away, but Whitemon gets the Thunder onto Whitemon. He sets it all up for Shiro. And now this is going to turn into 4 dead for Tundra. BZM, the only survivor. Oh man, he served him full HP on a silver platter.
I think he was trying to Yule him and then whip, but missed the timing of it, or maybe had cooldown, and the Thunder goes off, and the fight is just over in the blink of an eye. Yeah, important for Bach that he has a second RP there. The first one, a total miss. The second one, he didn't have mana, and then he just barely got it in time to get it on the Monkey King before he could find the kill on the Terrorblade. So that was very close to being terrible for Tidebound, but instead the game will go their way now.
Over. Yeah, this will be Mega Creeps, and now the Tier 4's dead. Ancient exposed. Nothing to be done as GG will be called. The Unicycle had 0 impact on this game, other than having a great highlight.
Yes.
But yeah, this ends up being a 1-1.